Hello and welcome to episode 28 of our Timberborn Update 6 Waterbeavers playthrough here, cycle 31, day 17, 5.5 days left in a drought. And for once, going into one of these things, we are in tremendous shape. 4,200 consumable liquids, 4,900 consumable solids, otherwise known as food, and we don't have a crisis of population or jobs or anything like that. Everything seems to be doing fine, which is what has me concerned. But I digress. We've got a lot of opportunities today to fix stuff, organize things, and just generally unclog a lot of production. I know we've said that a lot, but now we actually have the ability to make it happen. And I think, along with a few of you guys, this is going to be a good place to try and do that. We can try and flatten some of this terrain. We can put in actual decent storage that's stackable instead of these crappy warehouses that are basically just, you know, walled pits kind of things. And there's just so much that must be done. But, you know, we have an opportunity in this second district, which I have yet to name. And I think what's going to make the most sense is for us to put in another one of these large mechanized water pumps. Now, obviously, it's not going to be any good during a drought or a bad tide, but currently we just have this one deep water pump to supply water to the entire second district, which, you know, also has its own issues that we need to deal with outside of water. But we have a power shaft right here, and we have an opportunity to very, very easily pop in another one of these guys right here, very easily. Just get that nice and organized. They can come in from the other district to bring all the materials to it. It doesn't even have to be a pain in the butt. But it will require that we put in one of these things here. And I am going to, because I have the ability to do this, just pop in one of these, either the vertical T-intersections, or perhaps we spend the science and do the downward T-intersection, so we can still have this connect to something else. Again, there's no universal power shaft in the Waterbeavers by default. So we do have a little bit of time to think about how this is going to function. But for the time being, I'd rather save the science. We have plenty of stuff we need to unlock, and I will just go ahead and put this downward power shaft and have this hooked up just like so. Shouldn't have any issues. Just need to make sure we do what we can do. And we already have some blueprints brought into this district. And in fact, we have one oversized water pump. We come over here. We should have a lot more than one. Actually, okay, we do. We have 6. I forgot my other words there. But in keeping with the theme of trying to fix stuff in this episode, since we are already kind of in a good spot with a lot of materials, I feel a little bit safer ripping some of this stuff out and reorganizing. So, what we should be doing is taking buildings out of growable land areas and moving them somewhere else. And we have a tremendous opportunity here because this is all just sludge. And we can put alchemists, as far as I know, pretty much anywhere on top of anything else. So we have all this space right here. We've got 76 scaffolds. We have we don't have a lot of logs. But we have more than you might think. We've got some in these log gnawing stations. Not a lot, but we do have some. And I think what's going to make the most sense for right now, just because this is a space that is currently unused, go ahead and put in some of these platforms here. We have, of course, access from this side as well. But I'm going to go ahead and just have this come all the way across here, so we can hook up to this side, and then we can have a pathway. We can have some storage accessible in other spots, and just make better use of our areas here. I want to keep this available as a path, so I will keep this going this way. And then I think we can have 2 of the alchemists just right here. Now keep in mind when we build these things, I always forget where in the world these things are, but here we go. We have to have the laboratory glassware, I think is what that's called. We will get that when we remove the alchemists to put them somewhere else, but we can still put everything else that they use and probably be mostly fine. One of the issues we're going to run into short term, though, is that we don't have a lot of planks. So we will have to kind of bear with ourselves here, for whatever that's worth. But we'll go ahead and get those two guys popped right there. Keep these paths relatively organized. And then just continue putting other buildings in place. Now, the most often cited problem of a whole lot of stuff you guys have talked about in the comments is that we don't have optimized storage, and we don't have easy ways for the beavers who work in these buildings to get materials or to put their output somewhere. Because right now these guys are just kind of in the middle of nowhere, relatively speaking. And they're making, currently, brain-boosting salts and tar. And we take a look at all the materials here. We have bad water and strong alcohol. We have these two tanks right here, which we could very easily add a couple more, depending on how much more tar we can make in the next little bit of time. Or we can just say, all right, what can possibly be made with any of the recipes in the Alchemist, and what needs to be close by on site? I think it would be the biggest benefit to have most of these liquids stored close by. So bad water, strong alcohol, sunflower oil to get these two recipes done. If you take a look at the rest of the recipes for the nitroglycerin, it's the same. Well, only liquid is the same. For the basic balm, it's the same with the liquids, except you add water. You don't need a liquid for the treated planks. And for the ice cubes, I forget the name of, you have to have endothermic essence, which isn't a liquid, and you have to have strong alcohol, which we've already accounted for. So, we need a tank for bad water, we need a tank for strong alcohol, we need a tank for sunflower oil, we need a tank for water, and that's basically it. So that's only 4 tanks. We can make that happen. We can have the outputs as well somewhere else, but for right now, I'm feeling pretty good about this. We just have to make sure that we stay on top of everything else that we are doing here, and not do things that are completely stupid if we can help it. So, medium tanks, you already know how this works. Just pop these guys in here. And I know this stuff is going to take a long time to build, but it is what it is. Since tar is currently being made and has a relatively low capacity here, normally I would say, okay, well, let's keep this. But the amount of tar that we're making is still not going to be enough to fill this up, even if we took this tank away, because we have to use it here, and this is only 40. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Actually, no, I'm not, because they still have to be able to make stuff. They still have to be able to build these, but we'll switch this back at some other point in time. I need to have somewhere for the bad water to go. This is currently empty, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this bad water storage. We need to have strong alcohol storage, which is right here. And then we need to have regular water, which we theoretically don't need to dedicate anything extra to right now, but that'll get us our 4 things. This, of course, will be changed to be the sunflower oil when the tar is finished. But that'll allow us to have 8 extra, well, actually a minimum of 8. What's underneath of this? Is this just, okay, that's one square. I'm not going to be, derailing everything just to put one more square of stuff in there. But that'll be fine. That's 8 more things we can plant as sunflower seeds. And we can start moving other stuff around as well. Just be aware, it's going to take a long time to get this done. But we should be okay. And of course we have to get everything connected here. I never end up using these bad water bucketing posts, so let's just go ahead and say goodbye to those. We don't need to have those in this specific spot here. And then we can also go ahead and put, instead of medical beds for stuff like injuries or minor burns, we can just move them into various other locations. Like, say, right here, and then the same kind of deal over here. And that is, I think, going to be the best thing we can do, if I can actually clip that there. So this will get, come on. This will get this connected here, and I have burns here, which means these two can go away, which then means the path can be moved, and that'll get us a little bit more space along with stuff like this being removed somewhere else, so on and so forth. It's a process. It will just take time. We already know this. But that's fine. We also have a whole lot of water being used, because of course we do. But again, 200 beavers, 2.1, 2.2-ish per day being consumed. We're probably fine. Just need to maybe be a little bit careful about what's consuming water. So let's go ahead and check. Take a look at our goods consumption. I love this mod so much. Go all the way down to water here. And we got a lot of buildings. A whole lot of buildings consuming it. And it looks like our cooking houses. And then we've got the mechanized kitchen houses. They've got a lot of water in there. And that's fine because they're making stuff. But if we were in an absolute emergency scenario, we could pause these, get the water out, and things would be okay. Mushrooms. Really important we keep those going. But if we absolutely had to, we could pause those and everything would be just fine. So, I guess I could triple speed this while we're sitting here talking. Other stuff that really, really needs to move. I mean, the handicrafters' lodges don't really need to move, but these are not being supplied. Well, they're paused, first of all. But they're really going to need to be optimized a whole lot better. So, all of this is going to get moved around. You already know how it goes. But we do have to, you know, try to prioritize some stuff. And I have the pencils. I only have 39. What's using those? I actually forget. So go down here to P for pencil sets. The Floodgate Dam. Oh, that's in the Copyist Lodge. Never mind. I don't think we need to be making that many more Floodgate Dam fancy blueprints. How many do I have? I can't even find the right spot. I don't even have any of these. Okay, what's going on with this? Ah, okay, the fancy blueprints are being fancified here. Okay. Well, that's probably enough for right now. I'm going to go ahead and pause both of these so we can start getting beavers into more productive buildings. Like, for example, the Handicrafter's Lodge that needs to be making more pencil sets so we don't run out of those. And then this Handicrafter's Lodge that's supposed to be making explosives. Because if we're going to do terraforming, we have to have explosives. Absolutely must. And I know I put a lot of emphasis on trying to make this more accessible. And that's good, but it's not currently irrigated. So it may actually not be that smart of an idea. But you can see that these I just exploded do give us extra access here. And I hear you, commenters. I do hear the criticisms about how many of these green peas we've been planting over here. So I'm going to change all these that are unplanted right now, or the ones that aren't planted rather than being unplanted, to cabbages, because these will grow in 5 days versus 10, and we can always use more cabbage. So that's fine. This probably is fine to leave as green peas. We do have a lot of green peas, but we ideally should be going through a whole lot more with all the other recipes that we have. And I think, you know, this bit right here probably could benefit from being cabbage as well when we get around to it. But that will take time. Always does. You see how this goes. So this is waiting for tar and planks and logs. Not really that much of a surprise there. Just trying to keep an eye on what all we can be doing here. Not always a super straightforward process. But we are slowly making stuff work. We need more logs. And we've talked about that, and people have had all sorts of different solutions for that. But at the end of the day, we just need to have more trees, which means we need to be planting more trees, which means we need to be having more places to plant trees. And we have all of these pine trees right here that we are not currently getting rid of. So let's go ahead and put in a lumberjack flag here. Those are marked for cutting. They can be cut. This will also allow these berry bushes to spread eventually and give us some more berries. But the easiest way, I think, for us to get more trees is going to be to come in and take some of this extraneous land out, kind of level some of these things, because this isn't it's not tremendously helpful the way that this is set up here, and the terrain is not doing us any favors, and it's not even particularly well managed over here. I don't think these blueberries are ever going to die of water starvation, thirst, whatever, drying out just because of the way the cycles work on normal mode, but something to keep an eye on. And we do have only 300 something water, so I think I'm going to go ahead. Also, these aren't working right now. I'm going to pause the mechanized kitchen houses so we can get, actually there's only 2 of those. We get that water back. That gives us a few more beavers that will need to do something. And we have 2 days left, so I think I can go ahead and I can pop a couple of these beavers into the deep water pumps. That will employ a few and still leave us with roughly the same number of beds. And we'll just continue trying to get stuff accomplished in a better fashion. But look at this. We got mushroom stew. We still have almost 5,000 food. That's something to be proud of compared to where we were previously. And we almost have enough tar here, which is really good progress. The planks are going to take a long time. And that, unfortunately, is going to have to wait until we have actual water coming back in. But that's good news, because tar is the limiting factor for so much stuff that we are trying to do. It just takes time. Always does. So, of course, they're going to be, doing all this once they have enough logs. We have to find more trees, besides just these. We can cut down 4 wood. I mean, we've been growing these for a pretty long time, but this isn't enough. We're going to have to do something about that, and it will help tremendously once we have stuff like the tree nursery, which some of you are saying is way too early for us to get to. Others are saying it's been way too long since we should have built it. So we can meet in the middle and say, let's just build it. But it is going to take 1,000 science, and we do still have to have all of this other stuff taken care of. But at least we can make it dirt now. That's going to help. Tree nursery, as a reminder, is the only way to acquire giant sequoias, unbelievably tall bamboo, banana trees, grapevines, domesticated brambles, and all of that stuff. So there's a method to it. Just got to trust the process. Got to make do with what we have. There's enough trees in random locations, like say right here. If we just come in, and I know we have to have logs to build this in the first place, but if we just come in with regular platforms, then all of a sudden we've got some trees right here. Pretty simple to access that we can go ahead and cut down. I just have to have a what do you call it over here? A lumberjack flag. Just have to keep monitoring what we do and do not have access to. And I guess probably the closest I can get this is here. I think it's probably where I had it before. We'll be alright. Just plenty of stuff to get to. Maybe one of the more important projects, though, is getting rid of these things now that we have ladders. Because this is going to be some pretty valuable planting space for additional trees. Or other crops. So probably, and I don't know, this is going to take a long time too. Because remember, if you want to build ladders in this, you have to have metal. You have to have 4 blocks of metal for a single ladder. So any ladders you build better be in a useful location. And, of course, we have these natural overhangs that are free to demolish. They just take time. And then these blockages as well. The rest of this will have to be dynamited, which is part of the reason why we're making so many explosives. But getting rid of this correct word order is very important when communicating. I say as I have absolutely failed at that task, but getting this completely demolished will allow us to either plant more chestnut trees or get rid of these chestnut trees in favor of having trees that we can cut for wood. Well, I mean, you can also cut the chestnut trees for wood. It's just incredibly inefficient time-wise. I'd prefer not to have to do that. So, eventual goals. I know I've talked a whole lot about terraforming. We've accomplished absolutely none of it. You just have to, keep that in mind. Also, the terrain block. This was just a very temporary dumping ground for dirt because it's right here. We don't have to actually use this. So if we pause this, it's not going to take up beaver jobs trying to move dirt around. If we're going to put dirt in elsewhere, we should actually select locations that would benefit from it. But I do think one of our main goals should be to flatten this area, and we are starting to have the explosives to make that possible. So we'll just go ahead and get this all laid out here. This is a lot more than 22, mind you. But even if we just take this one bit down, we don't have to have everything matched to this level, but we take this one bit down. This is a lot of space to put in storages that can stack. Right here you see we have 7 deep from the edge of the map. That is good enough for 2. large warehouses separated by a path in the middle, which is a really efficient storage design. I think that's going to be the best thing to do. We just have to make sure they can actually get this in here. And of course, we have to have all of the trees to do it. But now it's cycle 32. I got rid of that because they cut down all those trees. And we are back where we started, waiting for more stuff to grow. But we didn't run out of water. The beavers were not dirty for lack of anything, except in this district where they didn't have any water. And we're actually really close to having this mechanized water pump operating. Everything else has been constructed. We just need to have another 29 planks. And those are about to get right back to work, just as soon as the water comes in. I love it when this stuff just works, man. But we got pines here that can get cut down. Not too many more of those, but we do have those available. And all of these are ready to go here. Filling in from the back. If they can actually get all 3 of these rows complete relatively soon, then I think we're going to be in good shape. So, how are we doing over here? Same progress or lack thereof from before, because we don't have a whole lot of logs. I guess that's to be expected. But I think we can find maybe... Yeah, this is actually not as far away as I thought it was. And this isn't going to flood either. Let's get a couple beavers over here to cut stuff down. I know it's, you know, an eternal battle of what are you going to actually allow them to build, in what order, so on and so forth. But right up here, just 3 staircases could give us everything that we need. Obviously, we have to have all these other trees in the way cut down, but I think that is going to be our key to success here. And we did say for a very long time that we wanted to divert up here. That is going to be one of the steps, one of the ways to do it. So we'll let them do that. I probably shouldn't build too many more of these lumberjack flags. It probably makes more sense to have either a wood flame planification lodge or a lumberjack's barn. You take a look at the bonuses here. There's definitely a big bonus for the beavers that work there. And they're essentially the same building functionally, except this one supports upgrades. Which I hear you guys saying that you want more of the hauling upgrades. We'll get there. We'll get there in due time. This would have to be rotated this way and should still be able to reach most of that stuff, so I guess we'll go ahead and put that there. All in due time. All in due time. All right. We just need another 11 planks. We should have those going maybe not tremendously quickly because we do have to have more logs, but we're slowly organizing stuff, and it's going to be fantastic, folks. Just have to keep up with what we're doing. And sawdust, I should not be turning any of this into sawdust anymore, at least not for right now. So we'll just hit pause on that, and I'll hit pause on all of these so we don't accidentally waste beaver labor. But hey, look at this. Are you you're carrying sawdust? So you're unlikely to come over here to blow stuff up. I'm just going to make absolutely sure nobody can get annihilated. There you go. And guess what we can start building here? That's right, storage. Except we don't have the logs for it. But you take a look right here. If we want to absolutely min-max this, I got one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. That's a lot. That's 5 of these large warehouses. Or we also have over here with the piles. We can unlock these and have plenty of storage for less frequently needed stuff. But I think for right now we probably need to focus on just getting more wood, but just be aware that's what we're going to end up doing over here when we have the ability to get that accomplished. We've got tar being made. That's good. I have enough to build another 2 of these medium tanks. Just need to actually have the structure underneath built, which of course takes time. But I feel like we're in a pretty good spot. Almost done. I just need 9 planks for here. Water slowly getting taken care of. Let's go ahead and throw these beavers a bone. Get those upgrades turned on so we don't increase the population, but we definitely can have them employed, sucking water up. The more mechanized water pumps. How is this? How in the world? Oh. Well, there's your problem. How is the water pump flooded? Well, it's because you didn't put the floodgate down. Just install simple floodgate mod. Maybe. I don't trust it. You don't trust it because you don't know how to use it. Yes, that is also true. Both of those things can be true at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. I say as I point to the middle of nowhere where no one can see my hands anyway. But drill bits are going to become a problem real quick because we don't have any. And we might as well, since we have all these extra beavers, might as well go ahead and start making more of these. Because they get consumed faster than you think. It's very easy to lose track of all that. So this is, theoretically, making planks. This could also be turned on to make planks. We just need to have more trees. This, of course, is waiting for planks. Am I even importing planks? I should be. I actually don't see them in here. Is that because I don't have a storage for them? It's probably because I don't have a storage for them. We can't put them in the crappy warehouse either. They have to have a pile. Do I have an extra pile somewhere? I probably don't. Let's be kind to ourselves and give us a pile for planks. That should help speed things along. That's going to need to be prioritized so we can actually, you know, build stuff. So just go ahead and get those situated there. Alright, 4 more planks and then this can be operating, which means that we will not need the deep water pump, hopefully ever again. That'll help solve some of our problems as well. So while we're over here, let's take a look at the population management, because I hadn't thought of this, but we could make it so that any children born into District 2, which I need to run the poll for naming at some point, but we could make it so any of the children born go automatically to the main district so we don't have to feed them, because this district isn't really producing anything. So if we go ahead and make the minimum for the children in the main district to something just obscenely high, then all of them are just going to get zoop, popped over there, and we won't have to worry about it. But now that that's taken care of, we can pause. I'm not going to delete it, so we have it in case of an emergency. But now that this is ready to go, if we can make enough planks, that is, we'll be able to have a lot easier time of getting water, and this reduces our population just a touch. Makes things maybe a little bit easier to deal with. We got planks in there. They should be able to handle that pretty well. Got 14 empty jobs here. What am I to do? What am I to do? But hey, look at this. We've got an alchemist that is supposed to be making brain-boosting salts. Not prioritized by haulers, but if we have this set up correctly, we probably don't need to, which was kind of the whole point here. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Someone has been keeping a tab on how many times I say go ahead in these videos, and I think that's kind of funny. Please keep doing that. But let's pop some sunflowers in here, since we can almost never have enough of those. Let these guys do what they're supposed to be doing. This laboratory glassware is the only thing holding this back besides some planks. So now that this has been demolished, we should have, yep, right there on the ground, and I know we have a glorious storage for the laboratory glassware right here. So that can be picked up eventually and then brought here. Then this can be built, and then this alchemist can go away, and we'll be that much closer, friends. That much closer. Yep, scaffoldings. We still have like 70-something of these, and this tank for strong alcohol is about to be finished. And by about to be finished, I mean about to be started. Yep, very close. Very much the same kind of thing going on over there. Food continues to be tremendous. Almost 6,000 storage. And I have these things paused. Interesting. Interesting. And I guess I probably should unpause these. But now we have a whole bunch of vacancies because of buildings that are currently open when maybe they shouldn't be. Well, the water situation's fine enough at this point. I think I can go ahead and pause the pump upgrades. Shift those beavers into other jobs. I don't want to pause the pumps until I have these mechanized kitchen houses turned back on. So let's do that. And then we can swap these guys back over to those buildings. Same amount of beavers. And now they're maybe doing a little bit more important stuff over here since we have all these mechanical pumps. They have not built a single staircase yet. Is what it is, I guess. Now, how are we looking over here? Not a single piece of dynamite has been actually finished since we blew all that up. Alright. Pencil sets are still looking okay. We're out of nitroglycerin. Okay. So I'm going to swap... Yeah, I'm going to swap this over to nitroglycerin just so we can actually have that before this is finished. This is just waiting on laboratory glassware, so I'm pretty sure I should be able to build this. It says required materials. This is still on the ground. I guess if I really want to be dumb about this, I could just have them prioritize that. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We're making progress. Food continues to be very good. Planks continue to be very slow. We are working on fixing that. Very slowly, but we are working on it. How's our waste rock situation? None, because this is basically not running because it's full of dirt. Well, what are we going to do about all the dirt, you might ask? Well, we have the ability in the clay pit to do gold panning. And I guess I should figure out what we're using clay for first so I don't make a terrible mistake. But it looks like we're only using the clay to make pencil sets. Which this already has enough, and I think we're okay in pencil sets for a while. What do I want to be doing instead? Or I could just pause this. That's also an option. Let's just hit pause. Let's just hit pause on that. So now I actually... Still have bed deficits? Alright, well that's not really that big of a deal. Anyway, this is gonna... Yeah, okay. This is gonna be switched over to gold panning. 100 pieces of dirt, 4 hours, you get a piece of gold dust. So, this is not in the same district, but we can give it a little bit of storage. Doesn't have to be a ton. We give it a little bit, just so they have access to some of this. So pile here for dirt, and then we put a pile here for gold. Gold dust, at least. What happens to the gold dust, you might ask? Well, it goes into the factory to make gold bars. What do you do with the gold bars? Gold bars get used for something over here. Oh, gold dust for the pointer statue. There's a couple of these that use gold bars. The gold fence, golden gate, and I was pretty sure there's a couple of these that still use that, but maybe I was wrong. I don't know, it could also just be some old stuff. Alright, so exotic seeds, we have enough to make the tree thing. We already talked about that. We're getting sunflower seeds because we go through those things like gangbusters. I say, as someone who doesn't really have that much of an idea what gangbusters actually did besides bust gangs, so maybe I should stop saying that. But I digress. We have strong alcohol tank here, and we're able to put the brain-boosting salt stuff in much easier. And this beaver has to go all the way over to somewhere else to grab all of his materials because the bad water is not being brought here. So if we have this set to obtain, that should help. Have this set to obtain, that should help. This is going to be for sunflower oil once we have something else for the tar to go into. Or I could just leave this as tar and I could build another one of these for sunflower oil all the way at the back. Remember, we have a pretty good close proximity here for most of this. Hey, this one's almost, oh, it is ready to go. I've just been making a whole lot more of the stuff here. So I guess I can let this finish supplying nitroglycerin for the next batch of explosives, and then I can shut it down. So it's got 8 there. I've got 1 left in here, which means this next batch can probably be the last. And then we can plant a couple more of those things there, and then continue building everything else here. No, it's got 10. Okay. Alright, that solves that problem. Sunflowers away. Now this is making tar. Yeah, we've got some stuff coming back in, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and bring one of these in here. Set it for sunflower oil. Get that attached. And now we're looking pretty good. For most of this alchemist stuff, at least. And I've just realized I may have made an error in my my planning here. I could have built these alchemists one tile up, turn them around, and then have them across from something else, and I think I want to do that. Might as well. Might as well. So since these are already built, I don't think it's going to be difficult. Let's just go ahead. Yeah, there's another one for your counter. Pop these things in here, because we already have the materials. We know for a fact we have the materials. Flip-flop. Put that back in there. And we can, of course, you know, keep building here if we want, but since this is going to be making brain-boosting salts, we're going to want a storage for those close by, and since this is going to be making tar, actually, this one's closer to the thing. We'll put that there. We'll put brain-boosting salts in this one. And then, because we have the power of stackable garbage, medium warehouse here, brain-boosting salts there. Don't you love it when something makes sense? I know there's at least a few of you who are absolutely singing and dancing in the streets, popping bottles, etc., so on and so forth. So that means this medium warehouse no longer has to be for brain-boosting salts. One, because we don't have enough to store here, and two, because we're putting that over there. That's a much better location for it. What can be upgraded? Pollution resistance factor, rice balls, pine resin. I'm going to say pollution resistance factor is the easy thing to do here. Just so we can start getting the crappy warehouses unloaded. And slowly condensed into other stuff. Maybe should prioritize these alchemists just so they can get back to work, but good stuff is happening. Okay, so this is still waiting on planks. I guess that is just an issue of beavers in this district actually getting stuff done. Look at this, they got water. Excellent. Very good. What else are we working with here? We have dirt all the way over here. Are these guys actually panning for gold, I say, as I can't find the thing? I guess this one beaver technically is. Maybe. Oh, you're dehydrated. Okay, well, go drink something. And then you can go back to work. Cool. Look at him go. Oh, now you're starving? Alright, people do anything to avoid going to work. That's why you gotta find a job that makes you actually have fun. That is a luxury a lot of people really do not have, but I digress. Now we have more space blasted out. They can still access the rest of this once they make some more explosives. But they're probably not going to be able to make any more without any more nitroglycerin, and they can't do that unless we have the alchemists constructed. So, you know how that goes. They have to take the laboratory glassware off the ground, bring it all the way up here, and then get it out of the thing they just put it into, and then bring it all the way back down here, and then they're done. So we'll let them take care of that as time warrants, and continue moving along to other projects. I'm really happy this is done now. That's good. Planks. The eternal problem. Getting more trees is really going to help with that. Except it actually is. We need another tree farm. And I probably should find a spot that's going to actually, you know, stay clean. Or at least mildly palatable for the trees. Because this is all going to get poisoned. We already know because these are dead. And we do have defenses against that with the help of the irrigation lodges. But that would pose a big problem in this second district because we have to import the material. It's not, as long as we can import the material, then it's fine. But we've already seen multiple times in this playthrough where they haven't been able to keep this stocked up, and it's been an issue. So I think maybe instead of trying to focus on maximum efficiency, we can instead just have a forester over here to replant some of these trees every so often. Try to make a good use of what we've got here. But they still have tons of trees to cut down here. It's not going to be a problem for a while. What might make more sense is making this area a little bit more easily accessible. I think we can do that with a few strategically placed stairs. Like this one here is going to allow them to get to a couple of these trees. Oh, I put that in the absolute wrong location. Never mind. That's going to do absolutely nothing. Well, I stand thoroughly corrected. Huh, well that's kind of a drag. I thought that was going to be some sort of actual helpful thing. Maybe it makes more sense to dynamite some of this area out. Because the rest of this isn't really easily accessible without doing some major terrain modifications. Alright, now I have 5 homeless beavers. I need to fix that. What can I unpause that actually makes sense? Paper mill. Let's go with that. Because I see that we were very, very, very low on paper. Should have done that a long time ago, probably. And we made a gold dust. That's got to count for something. We've got cabbages. That's got to count for something. Still waiting on planks. And that does not surprise me because we don't have a lot of logs. But if this is a super priority, maybe they'll build that a little bit faster. This staircase is also waiting on planks. Oh, come on. That is kind of funny, though. I do have drill bits. How many do I have here? 7. Okay. Well, that's progress. We're making coal. We have plenty of coal. We need to have more storage for coal. We'll get there. Eventually. I keep forgetting we have these gravity batteries. We probably should at some point research the medium or heavy gravity batteries. Just because they have so much more power that they can impart. Which, don't ask me how that works in terms of gravity. Maybe they have better gearing or something. Or they have denser... there's some sort of lore reason behind it. I don't remember. But they're kind of expensive. 14 metal blocks. I'd much rather use those metal blocks right now for ladders. I think that's a better way to go about doing stuff. So come back over here. This is actually operating, making... Well, it's supposed to be operating, making tar. Let's follow the beaver around and see what's going on. Carrying logs from across the map. Love to see it. Now you're going to do what? Pine resin. Okay. Does that mean I need to build a pine resin thing here? Where are you going to get? Wow, what a terrible circuitous path you have to do here. So let's look at the recipe here. Yeah, so that's my fault. Not having storage for everything that gets used for this. But we can put in ladders to stack these storages. That is going to be an important thing here. So brain boosting salts being made over here. This probably should actually change to something else. Logs, pine resin, sawdust. What can be stored in the medium warehouse? The answer is pine resin. That's the easy thing. That's the easy thing for us to do. So let's make this pine resin. Set to obtain. And then, of course, we're going to want to have logs, and they're going to need to be over here. So let's go ahead, and I know this is a lot of logs to build these tall platforms, but this is poison in here. So I wonder... See, it's going to be too deep to really have anything below this. Be just barely contaminated, but, just barely contaminated, it's contaminated all the same. So I think we're unfortunately going to have the tall platforms. So we will come revisit this when we have more logs. I know, solve one problem at a time. Oh, good. Now they just need to come finish this. That's progress. And we have a drought approaching. Okay. Let's maybe get a little bit more water. Well, at least this is operating now. That's going to help a lot. Should be pretty quick. As long as I can connect these paths here. There we go. Yeah, they have a decent amount of log storage here, and that's going to be exported. Closest log storage to this area is... Oh, okay. That's actually not bad, but it's set to obtain. Let's just say regular. That's fine. Should help. Well, at the very least, we've kind of streamlined these two things. I know there's still more to be done. But we have all of the liquids, at the very least, even if they're not adequately being supplied. I know we're going to have more bad water pumps. We will get there. You already know what I'm going to say, so I don't need to say it. But the... let's see, where's under science? Yeah. These guys actually would make a whole lot of sense to put in a spot like right here. We would just have to have something waterproof on top of them like we did kind of with this. And these other buildings that we've been building here would maybe be a good opportunity for us to do that. Like this guy right here, the Copyist Lodge, can be built on top of something else. And it's actually more or less the perfect size. So if we're pretty sure we're not going to need to come down here again, let's go ahead and remove these... remove this before it becomes a problem, so they don't actually come down in here. I'm not gonna... Oh, maybe I should be worried about this. Tell you what. Let's hit pause. Use my favorite material manipulation strategy to get that within reach. And since this is already done working here, I don't have explosives to do this. But I don't think we're going to need to have a Copyist Lodge anytime super soon. So why don't we do this? Where is the entrance? It's on that side. Is it flippable? It is, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Now it would be smart-ish for us to have a small bad water pump on this lower level, so it's basically always usable. But if we did that... Oh, actually, no, that's perfect. I just have to have a waterproof entrance for it. Which means this spot right here, the pit tank. Okay, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Oh, but this has to be blasted out. Okay. Alright, I see the problem now. Huh. The hamsters are turning the wheel in my head as hard and fast as they can. It doesn't seem to be helping. Copyist Lodge. See, I thought this was going to be such a smart thing to do because this could overhang, but then I realized because you have this catwalk here, that actually would block where I would have to have the ladder come up. And I don't want to build another Architect's Lodge on top of this. But if I put these 6 things out, and by put them out I mean explode them, because I can't use words, then that would basically guarantee, almost at all times, that this could be operating. And I would just have to have something blocking this spot here 1 level up. That would be the only thing I'd have to keep it from flooding the entrance. So it doesn't have to be the Copyist Lodge. It just has to be something right here. And I don't want to build extra housing that doesn't really do anything. So that's why I was kind of hoping this would work. 2nd floor entrance and all that. But what I could do... Okay, see, now the gears are turning. Copyist Lodge... All I'd have to do is just rotate it this way. And that would do exactly the same thing. And I can even flip it. So that would, putting this right here, still allow me to have a pathway if I had another 3x2 coming this way. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. I like that idea. Just got to turn this back on. The hard part is going to be blowing these up. We'd have to have access for these 3 here. But if we already knew we're going to use this space for other stuff, I might as well go ahead and put the platforms in. Tall platforms here. Yeah, let's do that. This would allow me to build this one, and then this one here would be the only one I couldn't get to. But The cool thing about building these is, you know, you get 75% of your materials back. You're always going to get a scaffolding back, so... Not going to be much of a problem, is it? I love it when a plan comes together. Alright, so we have a 1.8 days until we have a drought. Our water storage is not entirely full, but it's kind of getting there. I got homeless beavers, somehow. Probably because of how I did this. Okay, yeah, I got way too many open beds. I've actually done some work over here. Nice. All these are marked for cutting. That's fine. This is full of logs. So it would be beneficial for us to have a storage. So I'll just go ahead and do this because that's easy. Super simple, super cheap to build. Get that done. This is still full of coal. Not using all of our coal, huh? I can't really change recipes on this. And by I can't really, I mean I can't at all. So that's a thing. I need to, did I prioritize these? Now I did. Okay. And this, of course, is waiting on nitroglycerin that we're not making because I'm not making anything. Let's change this. At the very least, we can start making some sort of nitroglycerin. I'm not going to prioritize these by haulers yet. Do I have? I do. Okay. Let's, because I literally just talked about doing this. Pine resin. Sawdust doesn't go in one of these. Actually, none of this stuff goes in one of these. We're going to need piles, but those can come around the back here once I have enough going on. This was always supposed to be brain-boosting salts. I need more logs. I know. You got to plant more trees if you want to cut down more trees. Well, you know, that's a little bit easier said than done on this map. Just have to do what we have to do. Because this is all going to be poison during a bad tide and during a drought. It's going to be completely dry. Which, yes, the correct solution probably is to put in an irrigation lodge. But if we don't need to worry about repelling contamination, which in most circumstances this wouldn't really be contaminated, if we just focus on a level area kind of nearby other stuff. There's just so much that has to be leveled for these to really be that great. What about the super fertilizing? Well, they're expensive to build, but they do have a very, very minimal land pop run. I see what you did there. They have a very, very big coverage area, but they still can't go between different tiers of terrain. So I think let's hit pause. Get it? Pause. And let's pop this guy. Right here is probably still going to be fine in most cases. This is not land that is currently irrigated. But before we build this, because we have an opportunity to support upgrades with this, I have to... I just don't have the mental capacity to remember this stuff. You got to bear with me here. This replaces the forester, which means I have to have, if I'm putting a hauler upgrade, which would be a huge waste in this district, but if I don't, I think you guys are going to hunt me for sport. So this has to go on the left, farm has to go on the right, or a triangle building has to go on the right. Triangle building that has to go on the right could very well end up being the lumberjack's barn. So if we go ahead and say that's what we want to do, this would still cover a pretty big area. This irrigation lodge here, I have to make sure I line this up correctly, would go there. And that would fit on top. Yeah, oh yeah, okay. Now the big question is, if I move this back one, is that going to still work? Yes. Okay, that's going to be good. Except we really don't need a whole lot of haulers in this district yet. I'm just going to go ahead and build it anyway. Just because it's something that I probably, and by probably I mean absolutely need to be doing. So this will irrigate all of this for right now. The lumberjack barn is the same as this wood felling planification lodge. That's fine. And this will be up here. We don't have to build it yet. In fact, I'm going to keep it paused. But this is already a really good building to have over here. And this is... Click, please. Thank you. This is going to help keep this stuff alive, regardless of what season it is. And the rest of this is normally irrigated nicely anyway. So then the only thing we have to have is a forester. See, this is why I don't really do this. This has to go somewhere, and this is probably about the best place we could find to put this. Unless, see, then I couldn't use that space there. I could put that there, but I put the, yeah, see, I put the thing in the wrong spot. Well, this will work just fine. It'll work just fine. There you go. This is going to be your new tree farm. Enjoy it. But they'll get to work on that. Oh, we're already almost at an hour. That's unfortunate. What am I gonna do with all this coal? I don't need so much coal. I really don't need so much coal. I should be doing something with the coal. Drill bits. Do not have enough methane. Where have we seen that one before? Alright, instead let's go back to factory making the metal blocks, because I know that uses coal. Gonna need some more methane, which means we need more nanophars, which means we need to grow some more somewhere, or... These guys right here are already being harvested for that. Okay, that's fine. We'll get it figured out. We'll get things optimized a little bit better. We still don't have any dynamite because we don't have enough nitroglycerin. This is supposed to be making some, so I guess that's a thing. But here comes the drought, which means no power, but we have plenty of water. I guess that's fine. Hopefully this isn't a super long one. Not like I have any control over that at all. 8 days. The beetle's measurement of a week. But if we hit pause on this, we will at the very least keep water here in the event that we need to pump it out. Lets these guys, you know, still bathe. Regrettably, these guys have no such luxury. But that's fine, I suppose. Waiting on logs here. Again, I'm not going to have the contamination repelling. They'll just get all this stuff taken care of. It'll be okay. Once the lumberjack's barn is built, I can get rid of this. That's not going to be a problem at all. I think if we had a slightly better situation, I could put a Lido and a fluid dump in here. But I don't think we have enough water for that to really be a viable option for us here. Alright, we did make a whole 2 gold dust. That's something to be celebrating. These still have power because we have these light gravity batteries that are already completely exhausted. Alright. 8-day drought. We only have 64 sheets of paper. Okay, so now I've got to pause all these things. That's a problem. So now I have 37. How in the... Okay, hold on. No. How do I have 37 homeless beavers? People who can do math are absolutely molding right now. I have to have somewhere to put these guys. I don't want it to be the pumps, because then they're going to pump all the water out. Okay, forester does not need to be forestering. In fact, I really should have replaced this irrigation lodge into where this forester is. Now that I know that's a thing that actually... Pretty sure that's a thing that'll actually work. Yes. Do I dare tear this down to do that so I can get this back? Because originally we were worried about this being contaminated in here. Now that we know that's impossible at this point, putting this over here would actually help us retain a little bit more. And this is a drought, which means we're not going to have any bad water over here after the next 0.5 seconds. And this will still be irrigated from all this. But doing that would mean all of these hauling beavers would no longer be working. So for that to be that to be something that would make sense, I would have to have somewhere else to put them. I think these are still open. Yes, I don't have, well, actually, I can put them in the log gnawing stations, for workers at least. I've got these guys. I do not need to make any more screw press axles. I can be making additional planks, which we can always use. Alright, so that'll solve the job situation. Won't solve the hauling situation, but I think this is going to be an important thing for us to do, and now is a good time to do it. So, weeping, gnashing of teeth, etc. Commence. Put this right here. And then right on top of it, like we did before. Hello? Hello? Let me in. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard to snap, but that should be an improvement. Sunflowers here. Big help. This can also be moved. We've got these two here, and there's no balm in any of them, so it literally does not matter. That goes away, that goes away, that goes away, and now I have... Dun, 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 two more slots right here. Wow, what an earth-shattering development. Truly tremendous. Well, we're getting something accomplished, and I guess that's what counts. Explosives-wise, I really, really could benefit from having this here. But, you know, maybe it's not such a bad thing that these aren't done, because then all of this would have to evaporate eventually, and the lower this goes before this gets exploded, the less has to go in here, which, by the way, this also has to be dynamited. And then it has to have something come up, staircase or ladder. So much to think about. So much to get done. And I still have 42 homeless beavers. How in the world did this happen? Now I got too many jobs. I got too many jobs over here. These guys are haulers, but those jobs can be replaced. I'm just gonna hit pause. That should help solve some of that problem. This is actually look how cute. This is gonna be paused until the rest of this is done. Well, now that I know this is gonna be a useful thing, we can have that unpaused. This is next. It actually has most of the materials it needs. Alright. Slowly getting some stuff done. And I do mean slowly. Alright. Come on, dynamite. I know it takes you a long time to make this. I only need 7 pieces of dynamite. So that means I need 8 more nitroglycerin. This has taken a super long time, but that's fine. Sunflower oil we do have. Kind of. And this does have enough power to keep making more, so I guess that is okay. Power's looking good, food's looking good, water's looking good. Just the slow march toward something happening. See, I'd love to have more trees growing over here. I guess this is just gonna have to be what it's gonna be. Maybe this instead of blueberries should become something else, but then I'd have to have more florists. We almost have 1,000 science, which would get us our tree nursery. If I had 90 planks, which I almost do. But I have to have a really good spot for that. And this whole time I've been talking about putting storage in here, and I haven't built a single one. So I definitely need to do that before this episode's done. Alright, so this needs to be set on pollution resistance recipe, just to make this a tiny bit easier for later. Okay, hey, I see an opportunity here, and that is for this one to get detonated last, so the rest of this can be built first. Cool, cool, cool. I love it when a plan comes together. And by plan comes together, I mean the thing that was already happening keeps happening because I accidentally did something right. Okay, so that needs to be replaced. I need to put 2 ladders. That's expensive to have 2 ladders here. Yeah, see, that's the only bad part about doing this way. I am aware that there is a powered bad water pump that is substantially faster, 10 times faster, but that requires power. which we don't reliably have over here yet. This will be fine. This will be fine for right now. It's going to double our output, which is better than nothing. We can always put a powered one in somewhere else at a later point in time. We just have to be able to do what we have to be able to do. Okay, one more piece of nitroglycerin here, and then we can make 5 more, which will give us this one, and then some more over here. Now, regarding the storage, since I've been talking about this on end, we need to make large industrial piles, which are 200 science. I think those might be a little bit more important than the tree nursery. Sorry to disappoint you, tree nursery fanboys and girls. But this just makes sense for this to be what we build here. So if I have this here, that's what I'm going to commit to, putting that there, there, and there. These are expensive to build, technically, but these are very, very good for us to have. Because we need to have a lot of storage for different stuff in whatever spot we can place it. So I think it just makes sense for us to go ahead and have this. Dirt being one of those things. Just get this built. We can stack these, and we will stack these. We have so many opportunities to place items here that are going to be useful in the future. So, coal, iron, salt, saltpeter, all good things to have here, and then I can have these on the end. Hold stuff like sawdust. I don't think we're going to need to have waste rock over here. Hopefully we never have to deal with that. Just one step at a time. So this one I'm not going to blow up yet. This one probably is the most important explosive to put in right now. But somebody put them over here because they weren't paying attention. So we just need a little bit more nitroglycerin. And that won't take too long. I guess we don't need to be bent out of shape about this. So paths come this way. We should have a staircase if possible, because the ladders are expensive. But this will have to have platforms on the top. That will be fine. I think we can be smart about this and use a single ladder on the end. Right there, and then I can put in a spiral staircase to get up to this. Of course, we will have to wait to have access more nicely to this. I know this is suboptimal. This is just how this is because these are being used. This will get rotated, which I've been told was actually a shark getting rotated. Thank you, meme connoisseurs, for telling me about that. I don't even think that was this series, so some of you might be extremely confused, but that's fine. Woodfelling Planification Lodge can be planificated out of existence. Wow, they're actually pretty close to having this done. I am impressed. So the lumberjacks are in here. They're okay. Something, so on and so forth. Clothing, whatever. Thank you to those of you who got that. We've got 21 logs to go for this forester. And then we can start planting additional trees, which, guess what those are going to be? That's right, ever blossoms. And since we have access up here, I might as well go ahead, and there's another one for your counter, and pop this in there. While we're here, that's actually not any better. That's going to be fine to put this like this. Shouldn't have to worry about it. And yes, we will have to have stairs or something to get up to here. I now know the error of my ways, or one of the many errors of my ways. This will have to be attached to something, which I never really have liked how these work. That is probably the wrong way to be doing that. Regular stairs? I really hope that will actually attach to something. If not, then, well, that's showbiz, baby. That'll go there. And then this can be like it actually matters. Oh, this is horrible. Absolutely terrible. What's an efficient layout? I don't know her. That's my purse, I don't know you, etc. I need to really stop with this. 3.8 days. 3.8 days. Still plenty of water, still plenty of food. More of that has been put in place. This is ready. Let's blast that out of here. put in the ladder. Perhaps a tremendous waste of resources, but it's what we have access to. That's fine. I can't really... Oh, you know what? I actually could. I actually could take this out. Instead, it's going to be cheaper to do this way, trust me. I say as I have given you absolutely no reason to do so. That will go there. I want to make sure this isn't just completely full of just poison that will take forever to evaporate, so I am going to wait as long as possible to get rid of this so that all of this can evaporate, and it'll be that much less to evaporate from this one tile. But we can't wait too long. We have to be able to make sure that this can be constructed before it fills again. So we have scrap metal. Do we have pine resin? We have a lot of pine resin. Do we have planks? Technically, no. We can fix that, kind of. Maybe. But these buildings that I have them build over here all take planks. So let's... I know this seems dumb, but let's pause the upper level construction. Scaffoldings we don't need to worry about. Ladder we don't need to worry about if we don't need to have that there. We just need to remember that these are paused so it doesn't become an issue later. This needs to be connected so this stuff can be used. All of this is going to be organized later. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. Not by the end of this episode, like I bet a bunch of you hope, but one step at a time. So, this is not connected because this is not finished. This is not finished because we don't have the planks. And we don't have the planks because I managed resources poorly. And we have to wait. Power-wise, these are empty. We can do absolutely nothing because I kept my mechanized kitchen houses running, which were important things, but you can only do so much. Pick your battles. I say as I have 60 homeless beavers. How in the world do I have 60 homeless beavers? That does not make sense. Is this a consequence of having this export the children? It probably is. Probably is. What can I pause that has housing attached to it? See, there's nobody here. See, that's just what it is. I'm not going to say it's fine, but it is what it is. So these, of course, these have dwellings in place. Alright, that's paused. Man, I can't really pause any of this. Spicy sodas. Spicy sodas. Are those being actively traded? No, they are not. Cooking house. You are cut off. I don't know why Pitch Perfect is suddenly in my mind, but that's the way it goes. Fantastic movie. The Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center is a real place. It's not called that anymore. It's like Infinite Energy Arena or whatever. That area up in that suburb of Atlanta, but I don't know, that just absolutely sent me when I saw that movie for the first time. Like, wait a second, I know where that is. How do I have 63 homeless beavers? How did this happen? This makes no sense. Like, I didn't pause that much stuff. Alright, this is going to end up being a spiral staircase. I like this. Spiral staircases are fun and useful. Alright, so we have 2 days. We actually have some planks now. This has lowered a little bit. It's not going to lower that much more. But keep in mind, a single block of this can take like most of a cycle to evaporate. Because it's not got a lot of corners to propel evaporation with. But this can actually be set off now. That can be gone, which means more planks on the ground. Alright, homeless beavers. You got 1.8 days. Fine. I will reluctantly start pumping. Give these guys something to do. Also, we're kind of out of water. That still only gets me to 45 homeless beavers. Well, I guess it's probably a lot of it's because I paused these buildings. Which I guess I could go ahead and get them unpaused to start supplying materials. That probably makes more sense than anything else I was doing. Still 33 homeless beavers. got to lower the amount of beds in this district here. Gotta do it. Alright, well if this plank thing can be popped in here, that's going to help us out a lot. This is really not a good way to be doing this. I should have moved this. Oh well, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. We need to pre-plant Everblossom trees. And I think most of this, provided they can actually reach it. Come on, click on this. Alright, so this one can't reach there. I guess that's fine. But all of this being Everblossoms probably makes the most sense. Let's just check again what our range is. Check what this range is. Okay, so that's actually all the way. That's fine there. Once again, hoping beyond hope that my mute button works when I sneeze. I guess I'll find out when I go to put this back in other stuff, but that connected there will be fine. That's fine there. This will not be irrigated down here by the irrigation lodge, which is currently paused, but it's good to plan. This will be connected up here. The blueberries up here I'm not going to plant trees with because I think I can and probably should just harvest those normally. But I will have to have a better access for stuff. So I'm just going to get rid of this one bush, and then I can put a path up here, and to that path I can attach a gatherer's flag. Just make this a little bit easier for everybody. That guy can cover most of that stuff. So this will be more Everblossoms. This is going to be a lot of Everblossoms. They're not all going to survive. That is just how it goes. But enough of this will be useful for long enough that I don't think we're going to need to be that concerned about how this is going to be set up. I think this should be okay. And that, of course, can actually reach just about everything. And then this here, again, is not going to be irrigated. It's fine. Going to be okay. We still have 31 homeless beavers. How are we looking here? Half a day. Okay, well, you know what? Enough of this has evaporated where I feel a little bit better. It was at like the very top. So let's go ahead, blow this. It's not going to matter when I put this in. I just have this like reflex like this is going to actually make a difference. Build this, ideally before this fills up. And then before that fills up, we have to put in the copies. Oh, I definitely missed my time on this. Yeah, I should have done this a lot sooner. Well, we have... Oh, where's my planks? That's going to be a problem. Okay, copy sludge. You can and will help us with our goal here. That will be removed. That's just a platform. That's not really good for much of anything else. This bit on the ground. Just get yourself right there. It's like machine gun fire. So now we have 8 planks on the ground. I really hope they can build this before things get terrible, because this is really going to make me feel stupid if this is completely full up here. Alright, how many builders? Let's check our jobs here, because I need to make sure I have all of my builders working. That's going to be... Let's see, what buildings? Okay, district center employs builders. The thing, builders, tower segment, that's there, that's there. These are all haulers. That's really all I have is 5, 9, 7, whatever that number is. I think it's 7. Yeah, there you go. 4 plus 3. That's all I have, isn't it? All right. Well, that's bad news. So Badwater is going to come out from here. It will take maybe half a day for this to come up and then out. Badwater is going to come up from here. It will take maybe 1 full day to get down here from there. And this is not a source. Okay. You know, maybe maybe we'll be okay. Oh, this episode's already way too long. Okay. That is maximum priority. That is maximum priority. It will not start until the one below it is complete. So that was not my finest work. It's fine. Alright, cycle 33 begins. We sucked this thing completely dry, but that's okay, I suppose. Making progress over here, hopefully. I'm going to unpause this. Hopefully that will help us keep things organized. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I specified that every child has to go to the other district, but I didn't specify that this district has to have a minimum number of adults that is higher than that. Let's, how much can these guys actually... 24. Almost as funny as 25. 24 adults, minimum, at all times. That should help. There we go. Except we're going to need to have more than that. We'll get that fixed. We'll get it fixed. We still have some time for this not to be a complete and utter disaster. But the time is not going to last too much longer. We're going to be in danger from this pretty quick. Remember that eventually we want and need to have this capped with the... Where is this thing? The basic nuclear reactor, which we have to have the ENS built for. Okay, scrap metal. 3 scrap metal at the very opposite side of the map. That was a fantastic choice by yours truly. And then the rest of the stuff up here, this is definitely not getting done today. Oh well, best laid plans, etc. But we have clean water coming out here, slowly making sure that these aren't going to die. That's fine. Oh, this hurts me so bad. This hurts me on a fundamental level to have planned, asterisk, so much for this, and then it did not pan out. Okay, where are my builders? You are carrying nothing. You are unemployed. Okay. That is, that seems... Oh, because you're injured. Got burned. Okay, well, yes, you should go rest if you got burned. We can't even make the balm because I don't have... I really should put a third alchemist here. And I guess... Yeah, see, this is why I have this built like this, so I could put another one... I tried to solve too many problems at once, and now it's going to bite me in the butt, like it always does. But as long as we get the rest of the scrap metal, and I did not think this was going to be such a huge task. Alright, one more scrap metal. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can be the hero of the episode here. I say as they still have not brought the third tiny piece of scrap metal in. And the bad water is on its way. This will fill up very quickly. Oh well. Life goes on. Oh, good. This is finished. And this hasn't filled up on top of it. Maybe there's still hope. Maybe there's still hope. These are going to be, you know, closer things. Oh, yes. Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Where's my planks? Okay, all right. We have all the logs. We have all the pine resin. Planks, planks, planks. Where are my builder beavers? This is a hauler thing. This is also a hauler thing. Okay. You are carrying nothing. You are also carrying nothing. What are you carrying? Planks. Good job. You're carrying 3 of them, and now I'm disoriented. Where is my... There it is. You are carrying nothing, and you're dehydrated, so you're not going to want to work. Let's see. Where's my builders here? Okay, you are carrying nothing, and that sounds very German. It's probably not German. You are carrying nothing. And what are you carrying? Fantastic. Only 2 of you are actually working. Well, it is what it is. I tried. There is still time. There is still time. Am I stupid enough? Yes, the answer is always yes. 24-hour work hours because the builders don't want to carry planks. The Geneva Convention no longer applies. So... Bring me my planks, and we will be in a much, much better space. This is already filling up. If it gets inside of here, we're going to have a terrible, really awful, no good, very bad day. And by we, I mean everyone. And it looks like that's what's happening, so... Choices. Choices, choices, choices. I just need 3 more planks. This is absolutely going to fill up before it can be finished, and I'm going to be absolutely angry with myself. Alright, keep on sucking that stuff away. We only need 1 plank. Alright, get that thing. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, don't let the stuff get in here. Holy crap. Did we actually do it? No, there's poison in here. Oh, God. Alright, how deep is this? That is half a block? Well, I guess I can't be that mad. I guess that's fine. Back to 18 hours we go. And that says it is inaccessible because why? Oh, it's the one on top. Okay. Okay, this can be removed. This can then be pathed that way, which means this can put in a regular platform, which means this path can go here. Which means this path can... That's not a path. That goes away, that goes away, that goes away, which means... Guess what? 90s kid urge to say chicken butt has been completely substantiated at this point, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that was a US-only thing. We got tar. We got nitroglycerin. We've got brain-boosting salts, which we can, of course, you know, modify to be whatever. But I'm going to consider this to be a success, folks. Mildly, at least. We've got bad water being brought out here, and now we have alchemists that are, for the most part, slightly better organized. Mistakes were made. Well, I can't really be mad about this. I was asked to put this in a better location so we could actually utilize stuff without having quite so much slop, and I did accomplish that goal. But now the space right here seems to be a lot worse for wear as a result. So, what? Okay, let's hit pause. Yes, I know the episode is almost an hour and a half. We're going to end soon. What is the range of an irrigation lodge in a straight line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It might even tell me, and I just need to pay attention. It does not seem to tell me, but it looks like it's 10, judging by this. I don't know if this tile is also illuminated, but if we just assume it's 10, come over in a straight line here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that leads me to believe, even though this is offset, if I were to blast this row down and move the path over 1 this way, I would be able to plant on this level with the protection of this irrigation lodge. And I think that's what we're going to end up doing. Because now this is dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. We have opportunities to embrace our mistakes and use them as fuel for the future. So, seeing that, I'm going to go ahead... There you go. You never really realize how many times you say that until someone calls you out on it. Let's blow this up. I don't have a lot of dynamite, but we can start the process. I just really hope this doesn't kill that many more. It absolutely is going to. Well, then we can move it 1 more level this way. Oh no, because this will protect these squares anyway. Okay. So we'll just lose that. Well, cost of doing business. Alright, so what did we accomplish today? We've got storage over here. It's not perfect. It's absolutely not perfect, but we do have storage over here. We have plans for more. We just have to keep making more planks. We need to optimize some of this stuff a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean a lot of bit better. But now that we have all of this other stuff ready to go, let's turn this sawmill back on. Stuff that we want, we need to be making more planks. I really should be focusing on that, but job-wise, we have all these things. We can pause the upgrades. That'll help even things out just a touch. We can still have the beavers working in the pumps. That should be fine, but everything else... which one of these is paused? This farmhouse? Okay, let's unpause this just so we can, make more use of all of this stuff here. What else can be not using this? See, these things being open is probably fine because we do need to have stuff anyway. And it's just, there's a lot of stuff I gotta fix. Oh, and now this guy doesn't even have any water in here. Gah, I forgot this has to be prioritized. What a waste of time. What an absolute frustrating waste of time. See, this would just create more jobs, but it is necessary to have. Okay, whatever. Turn this back on. This doesn't house anybody. This is just jobs. Oh boy. Oh, and these guys are exhausted, of course, because I forced them to do a whole lot of work. All right. Well, this is progress. At the very least, we have planted more trees. That was the thing people wanted to see. We have organized some, not all, but some storage. We've started terraforming for the benefit of a whole bunch of stuff. These beavers are absolutely exhausted. I don't blame them. And I think this is going to pay off a lot more than you think. Having the alchemists all set up perfectly right here over space that was otherwise going to be a waste. Then having another small bad water pump is fine. Integrating a copy of sludge, even if it's... actually, hold on. This is being used as a dam. That means we can't pause it. Oh, boy. The choices that we make. This is, at the time, not actually making anything, which that's not a prohibited behavior. It just has to be unpaused, so I guess that's fine. And then this will just be a minimum priority workplace until I can do something with it. Alright. Let's see, just check our list over here. We did put the automated water pump in the other district, which was a big help. Now there's a lot more water in here. Things are progressing. Maybe not as quickly or as nicely as we would prefer, but they are progressing. Things are working out just about as well as they can. So I guess this is where we have to end this. I'd love to keep going, but I do need to try to keep these episodes roughly around an hour and a half. But I really appreciate you guys supporting the series, giving helpful comments, constructive criticism, etc., so on and so forth. Always welcome, because that's probably the only way I'm ever going to know something is wrong. But truly, it cannot happen without your support, Beard Boosters. I say it every video. I've made like 1,300 videos at this point. I don't even know. I lost count. But it truly is not possible without them subsidizing stuff, so I don't have to feel like I need to do advertisements for stuff nobody wants to buy, and I don't want to sell either. And not worry quite so much about if the videos are doing well according to the almighty algorithm or anything like that. Just focusing on having fun with the beavers and maybe having a little bit more stability along the way. But I really appreciate you, even if you're not on that list. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back in this series on a Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more fun with the Iron Teeth. Lots of good stuff happening in that scenario. So, take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.